Hi, Florette here, and I'm really excited about this new SVG kit I created called I'm Hooked on Fishing. It's great for all the guys in your life who love to fish, as well as the girls. I fish with my dad all the time, and we always have a lot of fun. So there's 5 great pieces here. I'll be going over them with you step by step, how to make each and every one, so it'll be really easy. First, I'm going to show you this really cute reel box. It actually resembles a vintage fishing reel, and it comes with a digital stamp that says, "You're a real catch." So it's kind of a little play on words, and it's fun. I added a couple buttons and a couple brads and a little wood spool, but all the other elements come with it, and you can tie a little twine around it and put some fun gifts inside. And of course, as with all the kits, you could do them in different papers for all kinds of occasions. Then we have the cute fishing basket, and it comes with a little fly element so that you can cut that out. It has a lot of nice little straps, and it looks really cute from all sides. And another thing that's nice is it has a lot of room, so it's a really roomy basket, so you can put a lot of fun things in there. And of course, this would, I think, look really cute if you did it in some other pattern papers, maybe something girly, and make it into a really cute purse. Then we have our fishing hat. It's kind of like the old-fashioned fishing hat, and I put a lot of different flies around the edges. I added some feathers to mine, but you don't have to. All the files come with it, so you can just cut them out of cardstock if you want to as well. I use double-sided paper in this, but you can see it's a box, so you can put some, treats inside, or a special gift, maybe some fishing lures, or change it up and make it into a pretty hat with flowers. Or for New Year's Eve, there's so many different things. Make it into something for someone's birthday. And we have this really cool bass card, and I added just a couple buttons. And what's nice is it opens in the middle like this, and then you have a nice liner in the side too, so that you can add whatever you like inside. It also comes with the words Dad, but you could easily change that to Happy Birthday. And lastly, behind me here, we have this really cool banner with trout. So with this kit, you have trout, you have bass, so it will make all of the fishermen happy because it's, kind of sport fisherman fish. And you could, create this as I have here with 4 trout, or you could make, multiple. You could use this, on a card, make a card with it, or, shrink it down and put it on a 3D object. Now, if you do want to create them as I have here, I used the Good Old Sport Graphic 45 paper pack. It's really cool. It's very vintage. It's got all kinds of sports in here. So that's a really fun pack. So grab your paper, grab your glue, and let's get crafting. So here we have all of our first pieces for the top of our hat. Okay, so we're going to start with the sides first. I'm going to push these over here, because these are going to be my bottoms and my brim of my hat. Now I'm going to take these sides and just kind of give them a curl with my fingers. I can do that for both of them. I'm not going to bend the score lines on the ends of these tabs because I don't want a crease in my hat. Now all I have to do is take some glue, and there are 3 little score lines here, but those are really just a guide so that you know where to glue the 2 ends together to create your sides. So I'm just lining them up and gluing that together. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. And I'm just going to put some glue on this tab and line them up. And you can also tell by the tabs on the ends where to line this up to. The score lines are just kind of an extra guide to help you along. Now once I get a shape like this, I'm going to bend down all these tabs here, and I'm going to put my liner into the bottom. Now you can let your side tabs dry just a tad bit longer if you like. Hold them that way. And I'm going to use a little, this is where a good scrap piece of paper comes in. I'm going to take my liner and decide, this is double-sided paper, so it doesn't matter if I want to have this side or this side. And I think I'm going to have this side showing. So I'm going to place my glue right around the edge here. and this is again the liner. I'm going to pop that inside of my box, like so. And then just kind of run my finger around the inside edge, gluing down all my tabs. It only takes a second. Okay, once I have that, you can see it's already formed a shape. I'm going to take the other piece, the top of my hat. This is the top. I'm going to put glue around the edge and all over the center. And I'm just going to pop that on top and glue it down. Just press it a little bit. And I'm going to pop it over again and just kind of press it down on the inside. And the longer you take with this, the tighter seal you'll get around your edges. Next, I'm going to take the brim of my hat and I'm actually going to place it over the top edge. It's going to be tight, but you want it to be. Once you get it over this part, it's all going to go smoothly. And if it bends a little, don't worry, it's all going to work out. And I just slide it all the way down to the edge here. And now I'm going to fold over all of these tabs, going the opposite direction. Just so they're folded down. Now I'm actually going to go around a little bit at a time and put glue on my tabs. Pull it up to the edge and then glue them down to the brim of your hat. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around. And don't worry if you get a lot of glue all over, because you are going to have an overlay that goes over this. So none of these tabs are actually going to show. You can turn it this way, just however is most comfortable for you. You just want to get them all stuck down. I'm just going to do the rest of mine. Alright, and then once you have them all stuck down, you're going to take, now I decided I wanted to have a different color on the brim of the underside of my hat, so I used a different paper. I thought that might be kind of fun. So you're just going to put glue all over your overlay, and this is going to cover up all the tabs on the inside. Now if I wanted to, I could use the same color paper, and then I wouldn't have anything showing whatsoever. But it's going to look nice and clean on the inside once I get it here. And then I'm just going to squeeze that together. You can see nothing shows. We've got a really clean edge now. Everything looks really, really sharp. And you're just going to squeeze this all the way around so that you have a nice tight seam. And there you can see, we already have a really cool hat. here we have the bottom pieces of our hat. You can see they look very similar to the top, and we're just going to basically do the same thing. The only difference is there are no tabs on the top edge. So I'm just going to curl these up with my fingers just to give them a slight curve. Put my glue on the tabs, line them up. Same to the other side. If you get any extra glue, just squeegee it out. Most important thing is you want to line up your edges nice and even so you have a really clean edge right here. Then we're going to fold down all our tabs. Real easy. This is where I always use the scrap piece of paper. Again, I'm going to use the blue side down, so I'm going to put my glue on my liner just around the edge. And glue it down to the inside of my box and push it down around the sides, getting a nice tight seal around the bottom. I'm going to flip it over, take the bottom of our box, put some glue on it, making sure to get the edges. Place it on top. You can see it goes together really fast. And once you know the technique, it's super easy. And a lot of my pieces, as far as box goes, I always put the liners in first. Almost always, and then put the outside piece on. Alright, and so there we have a bottom and a top, and they fit together perfectly. Now lastly, you'll notice all I did is we have our liner that's going to go around the outside of the brim. Again, we've got some tabs, so let's curve these pieces here. This is a decorative piece that goes around the hat. We're just going to put a little glue, put our pieces together. Now this time we're going to hold off on gluing the other side so that we get a really nice tight fit around the hat. So what I like to do here is then line it up on my hat so that I know exactly where I'm going to place it. Put some glue on this outside tab. And then I'm just going to glue it in place. Now if you wanted to, you could even, glue the two tabs together. Actually, you know what? I don't want that tab to show. And I forgot about that. We're going to put it on the right side of the tab, so that when we put it together, you're not going to actually see the tab, you're just going to see the end. And then you're going to put it nice and tight, and it's going to fit perfectly on your hat. Now if you felt confident enough, you could, glue the two tabs together and then slide it over the top, but I just found this to be an easier way to do it. Now you can see we've got our nice band that goes around. And then all I did was I snipped off the ends of the brads and glued them on to the hat. Glued on some buttons. And for the fly, what I did, here's our little fly, to give it, a metal hook, I just took a silver pen over the black and simply colored it in silver. Now all the pieces, you could actually do this all in paper because all the pieces come in the kit to make this all different colors like a fly. But I really thought it would be fun to put some feathers on it. So all I did for that was I got a couple feathers, a little hot glue, and stuck the feathers on real simply like so. Nothing difficult. And you can use regular glue for this also. But you can see you just pop them on. And with the black, it really looks cool. And then you get a really cool fly to glue on your hat. And you can see I did that all the way around this hat. I added some buttons and some brads. And it just turns out really cool. I inked it a little bit with some distress ink. And then you just kind of go, once it's all dry, you can go around and just kind of crinkle it up and bend it up a little bit just so it looks a little older and a little rougher. So it gives a real nice vintage look. And there you have your fishing hat. Here we have our reel box, and I'm going to show you how to put it together step by step. So we're going to start off with the top of our box. We've got two pieces here. I'm just going to take my fingers and curl the edges like so, kind of forming the shape of the box. Just makes it a little easier so that it bends around. Using these score marks, I'm going to use them as a guide to glue the sides of my box together. And you're just going to line them up, making sure that this back edge is nice and even. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Let yours dry a little longer, that way you'll get a nice clean seal and you won't get any creases in the sides of your box because it'll be all glued down. Okay, and once you've glued the sides, you're just going to bend all these tabs down. Grab your scrap piece of paper, flip it upside down here, flip it this way, and you're going to glue in your liner. I'm going to put glue around the edges. And pop it in. And I'm going to use my finger to glue them down to the bottom of the box. Once I have them glued down, I'm just going to take some glue and go around the top of my box. Go around the edges and then all over the center and put it on the top. And now you can see we've already formed one part of our box. What I like to do is then flip it over and push and sandwich that all together. Now I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And I'm going to do the same to the bottom of our box. Okay. Here we have the rest of the pieces to our reel box. So you've already got your bottom now and your top. And so what you're going to do is just make sure of which is which, the bottom and the top. Put those together. I've already gone ahead and put on all my elements, real simple, and just glued them on. And you can see it's all laid out on the top piece here, so you know exactly where to put all your pieces. So this is your top piece, and what I did on mine is I embellished it first, and I just took some brads like these here, and this is what a brad looks like if you don't know, and I took some wire snips, and you can use smaller ones, so I just happened to have a big pair, and you're just going to snip off these back pieces to them. And sometimes I take my pliers and just kind of push down so that I push down those inner pieces. So I've already done that to 4 of these. Now I'm just going to take a little hot glue, place it in there. I mean, you don't even have to. You could just go like this, keep it as it is because it has the spots that are like the bolts and so forth. But I just like the extra texture it gives. The brads are really inexpensive. They come in like a whole package. So you can get really creative with them. And I bought some, you know, in a package like this where I got a whole assortment of different colors. So I just go ahead and put some dots of glue and pop on the brads over my glue. Real simple. Like so. And then to give this cool handle, you can do with or without it, but I kind of wanted it to have a handle that stuck up. So I found these mini spools. This one happens to be by the Paper Studio Spare Parts, but I know other companies make them as well. Just the mini spool, you're just going to take it, put a little glue on the back end with your hot glue, and pop it into this hole here, which is for your reel handle, and glue that on. And then just to give it a little finishing touch, I added a little button to the top of mine, like so. I found these really cool buttons. They're brown, so they keep the whole vintage feel going. Then I found these cool little sprockets and some buttons. These are what the sprockets look like. You see, I've used a lot of these because I think they're kind of fun. And I also found some cool vintage style buttons. And I just took one of those and glued the sprocket right on top. I just put a little glue. I'm not worrying too much about it because I'm going to cover that with a brad also. Just kind of gives it a little more dimension. I'm going to pop the brad on top of that. And now you can see I've got a cool little element for just, you know, a few cents. It's really simple. Now I'm going to take my You're a Real Catch banner, and now I used my writing tool with my cutting machine, and the pen actually wrote this on there for me. Or you could do this as a print and cut with the digital stamp that comes with your kit. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on the end, and I'm going to stick that right here. Then I'm going to it comes with this hook here if you want to add feathers to it, or you can use one of the other flies, elements that come with the kit that's already completed, but I really like how the feathers look, so I'm going to just glue a fly on right here. You can see it's all coming together. And then I'm going to glue on, oops, use my hot glue, my button, and you're done. Just about. Oh, I forgot we actually have to glue these onto our box. So now that we have it all embellished, I'm going to glue that one on to the top of the box. I'm just going to take my glue, go around this piece here, or you could actually glue right here because this is actually an overlapping piece. You're going to center it down onto your box, and you should have like a little edge that goes all the way around. That's why it would probably have been better if I glued it straight to the top of the box, but actually I did a pretty good job. I didn't get glue on all the way to the edges on this one, because we want this little edge so that we can put some twine or something on the outside. You don't have to, but I did with mine. Then you're going to take the bottom piece, and this is what I mean, you're going to put your glue right on here rather than on the overlay piece. And I'm going to center it on there so that I have the edge going all the way around. And you can push this down like so. And there you have your reel. Now if you wanted to add some twine or some rope or something to the inside of the box, you would just glue it down in there. I used hot glue, and I just kind of glued it in little spots here and there and glued it into place to give you this really cool vintage fishing reel box. Now you could also decorate this with other pattern papers, make it totally different by maybe not using this overlay, or you could use, you know, 2 bottom overlays if you wanted to, and then put flowers or something like that on top and make it totally different, or make it exactly as we have here. And there you have it, your fishing reel, You're a Real Catch box. So fun. You can put some cute treats inside. This is our trout banner, probably one of the easiest projects in the kit. As you can see, you just have a few pieces to glue together. And what I did, just to give them a little more dimension, I used a little distress ink, And I found these nice little daubers. And I just kind of gave the edge of the trout a little bit of extra color just by going along this top edge. I didn't do the whole, all the way around. I just kind of thought the top edge would give it a little more dimension by his face. And I just think it gives a nice feel to it. You can see it just gives a little bit of a shadow. And I did that to some of the center pieces as well. But this is so easy to go together. You're just going to take these and layer them together. The hardest part is just getting this edge around these little pieces. You don't need a lot, just mainly on the ones that are sticking out, or these like fins. Just some little glue on the tips, edges of the tail, and then around the edge. So you can see that that's pretty easy once you get the feel of it. Then I'm just going to line it up. You see you've got a hole here at the top of his mouth, and you've got another one here, so it makes it real easy to line up. And you're just going to line it up like so and pat it down. If you get a little glue, don't worry too much. It's all going to dry clear. Or, just use a little less glue. I kind of went quickly and glued all of that in there really fast. You could clean it up with a pin or a weeding tool if you want. Then you're just going to take the bottom piece and again put a little bit of glue on here. And I'm just going to put a couple dots on the tail and these fin pieces. And again, it has the same hole, which not only makes it easier to line up and you know exactly where it's supposed to go, but it gives a little reinforcement on that hole because that's where you're going to put your twine through. And you can see it's all just lining up nice and easy. So you could whip out a bunch of these pretty fast. And you just want to line it up like so. And then for the center, once you get that, you're just going to pop this on in the center, right behind the gill here. And the top piece. I'm going to go right in here. Oops. I really put a lot of glue on that one. But I'll show you my other ones, even those. So once you have that, you're just going to set that, let it dry. And, you can make as many or as few of these as you want. Then I just took some twine, looped it through his mouth, okay, tied a knot here. I tied a knot here, so it looks just like this. You have a loop with the ends. Then when I was all finished doing all of my trout, I just took hot glue and glued it right on to the twine. Put a dab of hot glue. I probably could pull this off, yeah, because I did that one. So it's going to look like this. You're just going to add a dab of glue to your twine and glue it right on to the twine like this. And you're just going to space these evenly apart all the way, depending on how much you'd like them to be. You can even use, like, this is about a pen length apart, worked really great. And instead of measuring and everything, you could do that. So there you have it. You can make a cool banner. I think these would be really cool. You can make them a little larger size, probably about this big. Or if you have a 12 by 20 format, you can make them really big. So depending on what you're doing, you can make them larger or smaller, or make a really cool fishing banner. Here we have our trout card, and because it's such an easy piece, what I thought I would do to start off is to show you how I highlighted and shadowed this bass. It's not necessary. You could put it on just as he is here. He looks really cool, but I kind of wanted mine to look a little more realistic. So what I did, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, is I have these cream chalk palette, and it's called by Pebbles, and it's kind of cool because it comes with this nice little tool, and you get these little cotton balls, and basically I just kind of dabbed into some of these greens. I started off, and I just kind of went along the edges and kind of smushed it in along the bottom, some of these fins, and just kind of smeared around. I did a little on the top, a little around his head with the green. Then I got some of this yellowish gold, and I just kind of went along these lines here. It's just kind of fun to play with different mediums, and you're just going to highlight wherever it kind of feels like it could use, just to give it a little more dimension. This is nothing fancy. Anybody could do it. I mean, if I wanted to spend a lot of time on it, you know, I could. But I just wanted to give it just a little bit of extra color. And then I went down a little bit lighter color in the center here. Now, if you had just a green paper with a pattern paper, you could do that as well. I also gave him, so you can see, I just kind of really simply shadowed it a little bit like this. That's about all I did. Real simple, just kind of mushing colors in, nothing fancy. And then I forgot to bring my pen, but then I just put some little dots around the face and that, just to give him some little freckles. So once you have your bass all the colors you'd like, we're just going to take our card pieces. I've already inserted the inside liner, and this is a piece that you can write on. And I've already put on this panel here. You can see it's one card piece, and you get a couple panels. So I'm just going to glue on this outside panel right on the front. And you're just going to line it up with the edges like this. And push it down. Very simple. You can see we've already got that. And then I put some pop dots on this circular piece where the bass is going to go. I'll just remove these just to give it a little extra dimension. And I'm just going to center that so I have a nice little edge around it. And as you can see, it's got a nice edge then, so I can see the other pattern paper underneath. I did the same thing with my dad here. Text. You could easily make this into a really cool birthday card or for any occasion. And I'm just going to line it up and pop that on. Then I've done the same with my bass. I've put some pop dots on the back of it. And I'm going to aim him where I'm going to put my lure. Now if you want to put your lure first, you can do that, but I can line it up. I'm just going to pop him in the center. Then you've got your fly or your lure. You're just going to put a little glue on that. I've already put the two layers together just for time's sake. And you're just going to find a little spot where you like it at the edge. And it's lining up so that it looks like the bass is about to grab that lure. And there you have it. And so what I did it in different pattern papers this time, but it's really fun to make. And then I just hot glued some buttons and a little trendy twine on there, and I cut off the backs of the brad and glued it on as well, just to give it some extra textures. And there you have it, the bass card. Now, like I say, you could do this for birthdays. You could even put something else in the center here if you had a different element of some sort and use the card in a totally different way, just using the base. And there's an envelope in your PDF and your files as well. There you have the cool bass card. Now let's put together our fishing basket. Now this is probably the hardest part, is just making sure that your loop is going to be the right length. So I found a really cool way to do that. And first off, I threaded my buttons through, and I've already glued on all my outside panels. But to put your button on, you're just going to simply thread it through and do a nice simple knot on the inside and cut off the excess. Now once you have your button on, you know exactly where it is and how large your button is. So I found the best way to do this was to take the top part of your basket, which is going to be right here, and you're just going to line it up like so. And you can take a paper clip if you like to clip it. Grab your twine and thread it through these holes here. And once you know, you can kind of take and line it up around here. Put it around your button. And you can see that's going to be a really good fit. I want to give it a little extra. And what I'm going to do now is pull it around the back and just take a piece of Scotch tape or something like that and tape it down so I don't lose its place. Now you can do it two ways. You can tie a knot here, or you could glue this on at this point. So I'm going to actually move my tape as I want to put a little knot. And I'm going to tape it right here. And I'm going to tie a knot right in the back section. Going right to about there. And tie a double knot. And that's it. Now you've got your loop all ready. And you don't have to worry because this is actually going to be covered up with this piece here. So it doesn't really matter at this point what it looks like. I'm just going to trim off my excess. Because that's going to be one of the last steps that we do. So now you can see when we line it up, your loop is going to fit right around your button perfectly. So now that you've got your loop all secured onto your lid, we're going to go ahead and put the lid together. Now I've already gone ahead and you can see I've glued on all of our panels, even to the top of the basket. And I've also put the straps, I've glued them on just like I have here, and then I attached the brads. Now with the other basket, I used twine on the ends because I kind of wanted a different look. But for this one, we're going to use brads. Okay, so I had to go back and get my brads because I had forgotten them. But this, if you don't know what brads are, they just come in a little package like this. And you can see they have a little two ends that open in the back. So I already glued on my strap. Now I'm just going to pop these brads through. Oop, you can see I have a different color one. I want them to be this color. So I'm going to pop that one on. And grab another one of that same color. There we go. And that's nice, they come in a package of a lot of different assorted colors most of the time. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to concentrate on the sides of our basket. The top of our basket. And you can see they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so you're going to take one and glue it to the number 2 and follow along till you get one strip. You're just going to line it up along the score lines. That's our piece 2. Now we have piece 3. And I've put a little pencil around the edges of my numbers just so you can see them. There's piece 3. Now I'm going to grab piece 4. And it's going to start to form its shape. And there's really only one way to put this together, luckily, because of all of the numbers. Then I'm going to grab piece 5. It's really very simple, especially once you have your hook on, your closure. There's piece 5. You can see it's starting to turn. And then we get up piece 6. So we're just gluing them all together in numerical order. Now once you get them all glued together, you're just going to take piece 1 and flip it around and glue it to piece 6. So you're just going to glue the two ends together at this point. And this is going to give you the top of your basket. And then fold all your tabs inward. Just make sure they're all dried. And I'm going to take my scrap piece of paper and flip this over, and you can see the shape. I'm going to grab my liner. I'm going to glue around the edges. And I'm going to pop that inside the top, just matching all of my corners up. And just finagle it around so it all lines up just right. And then you're going to push down to secure your glue. And you're going to notice this is going to have an angle because that's for the angle of your basket, the lid. Now once I have that all glued down, I'm going to turn it over. You can see we have our lid, and this is going to go downward. I'm going to take the top piece that I've already glued together and put glue around the edge. And then all through the center. Get this edge here. You want to get all your edges because that gives you a nice seal around the edge. And I'm just going to simply pop that on to the top of my basket, lining up all my corners, kind of holding it down. And once I get it how I want it lined up, I'm going to flip it over and just kind of push it down so I get everything glued. Now I did this in different papers because my husband is a sports fan, so I wanted to make it with these cool sports papers with football and baseball, motorcycles. So I thought I would fill this with all his favorite goodies for Father's Day. And I'm going to give my dad the one that's for fishing because he likes fishing. Although he also likes motorcycles too. Okay, so once I have that, I'm going to put a little glue on here, just up to the edge here, and leave the little flap without glue. And I'm going to glue that down over my loop. The top of the box is a little harder to put together than the bottom of the box just because you have all of these straps to do first. And you're putting all your brads here. But there you have it. We have the top of our box complete. And now we're going to move on to the bottom of our box. Now I've laid out all the pieces of the bottom of our box. And again, they're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So they're going to go together real easy. And I've already gone ahead and glued on my overlays. So I'm just going to start with piece 2 and glue this tab to piece 1. And it's basically the same exact thing we did with the lid of the box. Grab piece 3. Now we're going to grab piece 4. And you'll see that it's the only way it can go together because of the angles of the box is going to dictate where the pieces go. So if you lose track of your numbers, don't worry, there's only one way it can really go together. Grab piece 5. We're just gluing them all together, edge to edge, side to side. I'm going to grab my last piece, number 6. And once you've made one of these, you'll just whip right through it and you'll be putting them together in no time. It's really that easy of a box. Then I'm going to do just like we did before. So now we have our long strip. Everything is glued together. Just going to flip it around and glue piece number 1 to piece number 6, closing the whole thing up. If you hear a dog barking out there, that would be my next door neighbor's dog. They have some golden retrievers, and they're actually therapy dogs. So she takes them to hospitals and lets patients see them and helps them to feel better. So you may hear occasional dog barking here and there because my studio is outside. Okay. So you're probably going to let your glue dry a little longer than I am. Then you're going to bend down all your tabs all the way around. And you're going to lay it on your mat. You're going to take the liner and do the same thing that we have done for the lid of the box. We're just going to go around the edges. And what you're going to do is be sliding it inside here. It's going to be a little harder for you to see what I'm doing, but it's basically the same as we did before. And you're going to have to reach your hand in there. And once you get it down in there, it's going to, see it popped in? Now I'm just going to push down all my edges with my finger so that I'm gluing the bottom sides to those bottom tabs. You can see our basket is almost complete. Flip it over. Don't worry too much about that because we're going to glue this on there and flip it over again. Put this on the bottom of our basket. So we're going to put glue all over it, making sure to get the corners and everything. We're going to lay it on. Once we have it all lined up, then we can flip it over and push it all down. And get your hand in there and really go around the corners so you get a really nice tight seal. And you'll have let yours dry just a little longer than I have, so that your sides won't come apart or anything. And there we have the bottom. And now your top is going to fit right on there, here, and you can secure your button. But for now, we're going to concentrate on these parts here. So what I'm going to do is bend them over the back. So we're going to take the top of our basket, and I want to glue on these two pieces so they are right along the edge of the back of your basket. And you're just going to glue those straight down like so. And once they're nice and dry, I'm going to move along here. You're going to put it on top of your basket, and you're going to glue those right here. You're just going to apply glue here and here. Now you can use hot glue for this part if you like. I'm just going to set it on, and I'm going to glue it down and hold it in place for a few minutes. And it's going to seal it right up so that you can open and close your basket really nicely. Let's see if mine are dry. Okay, now hopefully mine are dry enough. That wasn't very long. But what I did for this part is I wanted to add just some extra decorative brads to the back, but there are no holes for this part. So I just take a nice pair of wire snips. These are pretty big. A lot of people have smaller ones. And I just snipped off these back edges here and just kind of poked it down. Then I put a little dab of hot glue right here. And I popped, oops, I did mine backwards. I popped these on like so. Hopefully you won't flip yours over, but the glue will come off of the metal part. You can clean it up later. Actually, you know what? I think I was doing a different color anyway. But you're going to run into these things at home, so it's good that it happens here occasionally. So I'm going to put a little glue again. And I had already cut out off the backs of these darker ones so that I could show you how I pop them on. There we go. And I'll do the same here. And pop another one on. And I think that looks really cute. And lastly, you're just going to take these little buckles, and all I did was loop them through the ribbon and then hot glue them on to each side. And then for a little decorative piece, I glued on one of these really cool little metal pieces, little sprockets that I found. And then the file also comes with the little fly that you can cut out of paper and glue on here, and I just put a little wire on it. So I think it looks really cute, a lot of fun, and now I have two different kinds. So these are a lot of fun. I think they make great gifts. You could even, like I said earlier, if you did this in pretty papers, put a flower on it or something like that, that would be really cool. Well, I hope you've had as much fun crafting with me today as I have with you. And if you create some of these fun projects, please share it on our Facebook page. We would just love to see your projects. So get creative, have fun, and see you next time.